Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today is a really good day for us. The 2024-2025 opening night has officially arrived. I'm so happy that the offseason is over. Today on this episode, we're going to cover the preview from the Chicago Bulls versus the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm your host, Brian Ogle, and let's go. All right, today's matchup is versus the New Orleans Pelicans at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, 7 p.m. Central Time. And then for the TV channel, which the Chicagoans are having a huge issue right now, just hook up that old-fashioned antenna and you could get the game. If not, you're going to have to tune into League Pass. And also, Gulf Coast Sports. They're for everybody in New Orleans. On the radio, for the Chicagoans, 670 The Score. For everybody in New Orleans is WWL 870 AM or 105.3 FM. And if you're a betting person, man, I don't know what to think about this odds, but the Bulls are crazy underdogs at plus 7.5. And man, that low expectations for the Chicago Bulls. But I'm not much of a betting person. I'll leave the expertise up to you guys. The over-under is 224.5. I also think that's very low, depending if the Bulls could keep up with the pace that they were in the preseason. They're not stopping anybody, and they're also scoring a lot. So 224.5 sounds like a reasonable thing to be over on. All right, and the records, first game of the season for both, 0-0 on both sides. Okay, so the New Orleans Pelicans had one of their games canceled over the preseason, so they ended up just going 1-2. They only had 4 games scheduled. The Bulls, we played 5 games this year, 3-2 on those games. We ended up being 12th on the offensive rating, and the New Orleans Pelicans were 30th, which is kind of a surprise in my point of view. And defense rating, which is also a surprise for the Bulls, is 17th. I would think we'll be in the 20s. And New Orleans Pelicans, 11th. They got a lot of defensive players on that team. And net rating, 18th for the Bulls and 24th for the New Orleans Pelicans. So let's get right into the Bulls roster. And before we go over the game preview and who's going to start, 2024-2025 opening night roster, it's full with guards. We got a lot of guards on this team. We got 3 two-way players, E.J. Liddell, you got Adama Sanogo, and DJ Stewart. So those 3 guys I don't see playing many minutes. I don't see them not doing much unless there's blowouts. We'll see. But Kobe White, Lonzo Ball, Josh Giddey, Javon Carter, Jalen Smith, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, Ayo Dosunmu, Torrey Craig, Matas Bazelis, Julian Phillips, Taylor Horton Tucker, Dalen Terry, and Chris Duarte, along with Patrick Williams. Now, this roster is built pretty unevenly. We have a lot of guards, and we got a lot of people to run. That's what Billy wants to do. He said that he was going to have a 10-man rotation. Let's see if that rotation goes into play, and who is going to be in that rotation. Well, you already know Kobe White is going to play. Alonzo Ball is going to get in the limited minute restrictions, 16 minutes per game. But he's going to play. Josh Giddey, definitely going to play. Zach LaVine, going to play. Jalen Smith is going to play. Nikola Vucevic, going to play. Ayo Dosunmu is going to play. So those 7 for sure that you know is going to play. Maybe even Julian Phillips nowadays. That's 8 players. So then we have 2 roster spots that are going to be in that 10-man rotation. I'm not too sure who else is it. Is Dalen Terry finally going to crack the rotation? Or is it going to be Chris Duarte? I don't know. Or is it Matas Bazelis? I hope so. So we'll see if the Bulls run a funny rotation today or if it's going to be as predicted. But me personally, I think the rookie Matas Bazelis and Julian Phillips need to be in that rotation. Along with Dalen Terry, we need to see what we have in Dalen Terry, or else we need to trade him away. I like Dalen. I want him to get a shot. He's a defensive havoc. I really like his intensity. We need people to run in the open court. He's really good at that. He's really good at defense. So we'll see what Billy decides to do. I also think this year we need to cut Patrick Williams' minutes. I don't think he needs to play as much. I also wish he came off the bench. Speaking of that, let's go over the starting lineup for the Bulls and the New Orleans Pelicans. So for the Bulls, same old story. Zach LaVine, Kobe White, Josh Giddey, Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic. I see this group struggling. I think we need to mix the starters up a little bit. I do like Josh Giddey in the starting lineup, though, especially to make this team run and go, because this is the same starters without DeMar, and we know how stagnant they could be. So I definitely think this roster, this starting lineup needs to be traded and reworked and revised. I think Patrick Williams needs to sit out of this one. Nikola Vucevic as well, but he's not going to come off the bench. But projected starters for New Orleans Pelicans: C.J. McCollum, DeJounte Murray, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Herbert Jones. Herbert Jones is such a good defender. He's going to give us problems on the defense. And Zion Williamson is offense. He's tough to stop. Him against Patrick Williams is a nightmare for me. I think he has such a mismatch on that. And Brandon Ingram is an offensive threat. If I'm the Bulls, I'm attacking him on the defensive end, on the offensive end, and make him play defense. DeJounte Murray is a good defender. He's going to give Kobe some really tough problems today, or even Zach, depending on who he's going to guard. I think he'll be on Kobe. C.J. McCollum, he's such a good offensive threat as well. Hopefully Kobe can stay with him. If not, we need to get into that bench and then have Io guard him. They have good defenders in the starting lineup. This starters are definitely going to give us a lot of problems. I think the Bulls are not in a good matchup here with their starters until we get to the bench. We'll have more of a better matchup. That being said, what does the injury report look like for the Chicago Bulls? It's pretty clean. They have Josh Giddey, Dalen Terry, and Patrick Williams on the injury report, but I'd see them all playing. New Orleans is a little different story. You got Trey Murphy III. He's out for sure with a hamstring problem. You had Jose Alvarado with a knee injury. DeJounte Murray had a personal issue. And Zion Williamson missed practice with the illness, non-COVID related. So we didn't see him at the practice facility yet. But DeJounte Murray was getting some shots up today at the arena. So I think the only person that's going to miss is Trey Murphy III. Then it should be full rosters against each other besides one player. Little hot takes for you guys. What do I think the Bulls are going to do this year? They are just hot takes. Don't yell at me about them. But I'm going to go crazy, and I'm going to be the optimistic for the Chicago Bulls this year. I think the Bulls go 500, 41-41. It's way higher than every prediction you're going to see. And it's crazy. They definitely have low expectations this year. But I think if they could commit to running and making the other team tired, and it's anything to make up for their lack of defense this year, we'll have a shot at it, especially if that three-point shot starts falling. Billy knows that we need to shoot a lot of threes, and we averaged 48 threes over the preseason. It's the most I've seen from the Chicago Bulls ever. I know it's just preseason, but if we could sustain that and we can make 34% like we did, I think we'll be in good shape to win a lot of games. But that being said, is how good a three-point shooting team we're going to be. We don't necessarily have the best roster for three-point shooting. Hopefully everybody improved in that area. All right, and then I also think that Zach LaVine doesn't get traded. I think his contract is way too hard to trade anyways. I don't think anybody wants Zach, but I think Vucevic definitely gets traded by the trade deadline. And I think that because Smith is going to outplay him, especially because Smith shows up on the defense end and Vucevic doesn't, and he's a lot younger. So I think Zach stays, Vuce goes, Smith goes into the starting lineup by the time the end of the season. Matas Buzelis, I think he makes the first rookie team. I don't think he wins Rookie of the Year, and that's solely because Billy won't play him enough. Lonzo Ball, I think he plays more than he misses. I think he came back from this injury. He's not going to miss as much time. They're going to be super cautious with him, so he's going to play more games than he misses. Julian Phillips, excuse me, Julian Phillips, I think breaks out this year. We saw in the preseason that he could flat out shoot nowadays, and he also has such good defense that it's going to be hard to get this guy off the floor. I think he's going to get minutes. I think he's going to come in and play, and I think he fits with any of our rotations. Julian Phillips is such a compliment piece that I think he's going to force Billy to play him, which will make his breakout year. What do you guys have for outtakes or hot takes this year? What do you expect from the Bulls, and what's some crazy predictions that you could come up with? Let me know down below. I think personally, which I hate to say, I think the Bulls lose this game. I think that starting group has a lot of issues that they're going to have to work out through the first few games here. I think that starting group versus New Orleans Pelicans starting group is going to be a hard matchup for us. And I think we'll start doing better once the bench comes into play. But I hope they prove me wrong. I would like to see them keep running and go fast, and maybe that's the difference maker where the Bulls could pull one out. I'll get to you guys after the game, and we'll talk all about it. Let me know what you guys think, and happy opening day.